Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about making some CGI ads in Blender. We're going to be very detailed in this video, so I'm gonna jump into VFX tab inside of Blender. Let's go to motion tracking. Okay, so I'm gonna hit open to open our clip. It is downloaded from pexels.com, which is a pretty good website for shots like that for free. I'll put the link to it in the description down below. So it's a high quality shot. That is why it's taking some time to render, So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit prefetch to load the footage into the RAM. So what it does, it will be playing very smoothly. After that, I'm going to change the motion model to location, rotation, and scale, because there is a perspective change also, and there is some location and rotation changes in the shot. So the tracker will follow these. I'm going to go to the first frame, and I'm going to click detect feature. I'm also going to add some of them manually. So I'm going to hit detect features to automatically add trackers into the scene. I'm going to decrease the level of threshold and also the distance between those tracks, and I'm going to make them so much. So I'm going to go for a 76 distance value. So now we can select all of them, and we can so now we can add some of them manually by control and left click to add them manually, because we want to add some CG stuff into the skyscrapers. That is why we need some of them on the same location, so we can decide where to add our CG objects. So I'm going to add them, and I'm going to make it really fast. Okay, so after adding enough trackers, I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to hit track forward. It will track the motion forward, and we will have so many trackers lost. And as you can see, some of them ended up very well. And again, I'm going to hit detect features to add other trackers. As you can see, I'm going to track it backward, so it will be tracked perfectly like that. And let's see. Okay, so it's tracking perfectly, and I think we get something really good. Okay, so now it's time to delete some of them that is going off from the track. I'm going to select them one by one and delete them, because they're actually messing up the track, that are out of the track, and we will have a higher solve if we have all of those in our solving process. So I'm going to delete them one by one. You can also leave it, but you can also do it later on in the solve cleanup tab. I'm going to go to solve, and I'm going to make the keyframe A and B. To select keyframe A and B, you need to see the perspective change in the shot. So I feel that between 30 and 150, there is a huge perspective change. So I'm going to click, I'm going to type in 150 in keyframe B. I'm going to select these three options, because I really don't know what are those focal length of the camera. So I'm going to click solve camera motion to actually solve its motion. And let's wait for these to happen, because it might take some time. We have so many trackers in the scene that okay, so we got an error of 1, and we have some data failed to reconstruct. So under cleanup, click filter tracks. Under filter tracks, the threshold value of 5 is okay. I'm going to click delete. So again, I'm going to click solve camera motion to solve it, and let's wait for these to happen. We got an error of 0.41, which is pretty good. Everything that is under 1 is good, but again, I'm going to click filter track. I'm going to make the threshold value to 4, so we can delete more trackers that are having high errors. I'm going to hit delete, and again, I'm going to solve the camera motion. Let's wait for these. Okay, so we got an error of 0.36, which is pretty good. So now it's time to add our CG stuff. So in order to do it, we're gonna go and scroll down, set as background, so the clip will be added to the background of the camera, and also set up tracking scene, so we can see some of the trackers on the scene. And if you go to layout, go to camera view, and select the camera, and I'm gonna go to motion tracking again, so we can just go for some tracker. I'm gonna select one of the trackers, for example this one. I'm going to click set origin, so the origin will be set into that. Now it's time to select another trackers, and let's set the scale. I'm going to make it to 4, and I think this is big, but I think I'm going to increase the distance between those 2 points, because this is very small. I'm gonna make it 6, and again set scales, and as you can see everything disappeared, because if you go to camera view and change the ending to something like 1000, you will be able to see what is going on, because it's a clipping. Okay, so here you can see we have to set up our camera. So I'm going to open up a new window right here by dragging the plus sign in the corner. Okay, so I'm gonna line up the camera manually, because Blender don't know where is stuff in the scene. So I'm just gonna slightly rotate it like that, and I'm going to move it towards that axis. And right now I'm trying to find a perfect place for setting up our camera. So if you play it, as you can see, it doesn't feel really good, because it's like it's not a plan, it's not a plan axis, it's like a vertical. I'm going to try to do it with the plan and try to align it with the city. So let's see if we can get something perfect. Okay, so I'm going to play it. As you can see, there is some change, and I think this is not a good option. I'm going to hit Control Z. Maybe I can change first. Oh, that's messed up, really. I'm gonna hit Control Z, just reset it to the default values, because I really don't know. Okay, so I think I can go to X-axis like that. I can rotate this thing like that, and I can move it downward like that. And as you can see, it's doing a good job. I loved it, and it's actually aligning with the viewport. I'm going to go to the overlay. I'm going to turn on motion tracking so we can see those trackers in our scene. Okay, so I'm gonna delete the sphere, the cube, and the plane, and I'm gonna select the camera, go to camera view. Under background image, let's increase the opacity of the clip so we can see what is going on. And right now, if we play it, as you can see, all of those trackers sticking into it. So I'm gonna go to motion tracking again. Instead of setting up floors and all of those stuff, we're going to be for a geometry. Let me show you how to do it. So let's select some of the trackers on this first skyscraper. For example, this one. Select those that can be converted to mesh, that have the shape like a mesh, and I think those are the ones. I'm gonna select all of those, and okay, so they are selected. Go to here, 3D camera, 3D markers to mesh. What it does, it will convert those trackers into mesh. In fact, right now you can see it's like vertices, but in fact they are mesh. If you go to edit mode of those, and we can now just join them together and fill up the space between them. I'm going to select both of those. I'm going to hit F to fill it, and I'm going to do it for all of those vertices. Select this one and that one. I'm going to hit F. This one again F, and I'm going to select those two, F, and I'm going to select those two also and hit F. I'm going to select this one and that one, and all of those, and hit F to fill in the middle of all of those. So as you can see, it's like a plan, but in fact it's all of those trackers that we selected in the motion tracking tab. And this is really powerful, because we can now just move it around, change it to local, so we can move it on its local axis. I'm gonna move it towards x-axis maybe. As you can see, there is a shift, so I'm gonna go for the second window. I'm gonna go to the top view, and I will try to move it so it will not mess up. So I'll try to just slightly move it towards that axis by hitting G, so then don't mess up from the line, and also fit in the skyscraper out there. And I'm going to move this one also so it fits in. I'm going to go to wireframe, select all of those vertices, and I'm going to move them towards that axis so they fits in there. And right now, if I just select this one, and I'm going to move it downward like that by hitting double G, and I'm going to move it towards that axis so that fits in like a plan, like we usually do in After Effects. So I'm just trying to fix it, and I'm just trying to align it with the building so it's not moving like apart from one another. And okay, that's fine. Let's try to match up the perspective with the building, because it's slightly downward, and I'm going to slightly move this up on x-axis, because in fact we are in local transforms, and that is why some of the axes might changed for you. So I'm just going to slightly scale it on x-axis, which is actually a z-axis, but we're in local, that is why it is an x-axis. Okay, so I'm gonna slightly move it downward. I'm gonna go to edit mode, and if you play it, as you can see, it's sticking into the building right away. And this is something we really like about this technique. Okay, so I'm gonna go to edit mode, edge selection mode. I'm gonna select this one. I'm gonna slightly move it down towards y-axis. It's not y-axis, but we are in local transforms. That is why it's y-axis. So I'm trying to fix the perspective according to the building, and I think that's totally fine. And if I just go to edit mode, select this edge, slightly move it up so it doesn't clip with the windows behind it. And if you play it, as you can see, it's going pretty good. Okay, so if you go to motion tracking tab, and we're going to do it for the other side, the same thing. I'm going to select all of those motion tracker on the other skyscraper, like that one. And as you can see, if you select this one, as you can see, it selects that one. So I'm going to select those one also, select all of those that I want. And because we also want to create a mesh on this side as well, so we can add other stuff. I'm going to click 3D markers to mesh. And again, it created a mesh like a point cloud or a vertex cloud, whatever you want to call it. Select all of those vertices, go to edit mode, and select select a couple of vertices, and then click F to fill in. I'm gonna make it really fast because I've already covered it and how to do it. So as you can see, we have created our plan, and we are just trying to fix the orientation with the building as we done for the first one. I'm trying to fix the orientation. I'm just slightly making it really faster because I just don't want to waste your time. So you have already an idea on how to set it up. And I think that is pretty good. And we just need to slightly move them around and, slide it. And, we're just trying to make an overall. Okay. So we're going to turn this off, and I'm going to select the first one. I'm gonna turn off the second one. I just duplicated it, and I'm going to move these two into a new collection, which is called a garbage, because we don't really need it. So I'm just gonna turn this off for now. Okay, so we have this tracker here. I'm gonna select it, go to face selection mode. I'm going to extrude it backward like that. Okay, so that is something really good. I'm going to select the front face. I'm going to delete it. And if I just select some of the edges, the outer edges, and I'm going to extrude it because I'm just trying to create a holdout. I'm going to hit E and then hit S to scale it up. So I'm just masking out the back side of it, so it will not be shown in render. I'm going to scale it up like that, so it hides everything in the back side of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to material. I'm going to create a new material, and again another new material. I'm going to hit new, change it to a holdout, and if you go to edit mode, I'm going to select the outer faces like that, and we're going to assign it to the holdout material. Select it and click assign. So what it does, if you go to material view, it's going to mask out everything behind it, and this is really powerful in Blender. You can directly mask out stuff inside of Blender using holdout. So you can change the original material color to something you like, and I'm just trying different textures because I really don't know what I'm going for, and I'm trying to add this one so we can see what is going on. And I think that is fine. And if we play it, as you can see, we have something really good going on. And this is something we really wanted. So maybe we can just slightly change the texture because I already didn't like the image texture. I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna add okay, so I'm gonna select this thing, and if I go to top view, just slightly moving towards x-axis like that, so it's aligned with the building perspective because it was a little messed up. So I'm going to turn on the garbage. I'm going to turn off the first one because we have already done with it. I'm going to select the second one. I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate it, and hit M to move it to the foreground collection. so we can use it. I'm going to turn this thing off again. So here we have the second one like that. I'm going to go to edit mode. I'm going to select the face. I'm going to hit E to extrude it backward like that. I'm going to delete the front face. I'm just going to copy the same setup as we did for the first one. So it's nothing else, just applying holdout to the outer edges and trying to align the perspective with the building of these corner, you know. Okay, so as you can see, it's doing its job pretty good, and this is something we really wanted. Okay, so here we have a freedom of adding anything into it, literally anything. You can just select any tracker, Shift S, cursor to select it. You can add object into there and it's stick into there. It means that you can just go for a good track, then you can make anything. Like you can literally add any sort of object into this city right now without messing up with the motion. As you can see, I've added the cube here and it's doing its job perfectly. If I just move it slightly up and slightly move it backward like that, if you go to top view and see where is the point cloud, and as you can see, if we just slightly move it backward, as you can see, it's perfectly aligning with it. And if you go to camera view, if you slightly move it towards x-axis, right, like that, and if you slightly move it up like that, if you play it, slightly rotate it, so it feels like it's on the top of the skyscraper. If we just play it again, as you can see, it feels like the cube is on the top of the skyscraper, and this is what we wanted always. So I'm going to save our file, because if you don't save your work, you might lose it, because Blender always crashes, and if it crashes, it's going to make a lot of problems for you. So I'm going to name it something like tutorial, because it's tutorial, you know. Okay, so I'm going to hit save Blender file. It will save the Blender file into your directory. Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna open up a new Blender file like that, because we're going to model a bottle from scratch. Because I don't want to have questions asking on how to model a bottle, because on my previous video, some of you have done this question a lot. So I'm gonna go to x-axis. I'm gonna create a mesh, which is going to be a circle like that. And if we go to edit mode, as you can see, this is just a circle. I'm gonna hit F to fill it in. And I'm going to hit E to extrude it. It's just a simple extruding bottle, and it's not very complex to think about, you know. I'm going to go to wireframe so I can see what is going on. I'm going to slightly scale it down. I'm going to open up a new window so I can see what is going on. I'm going to solid view in the second window. So I'm going to scale it down like that, and I'm going to hit extrude to extrude it upward like that. I'm going to hit E and then S to scale it up, and again E and extrude upward, E, scale it down, E, and move it up, E, scale it up, and E, move it up, E, and then scale it down, like that. And it's simple, extremely simple. It's very basic stuff, but I'm showing you how to do it, because some of you are beginners and don't know how to model things in Blender. So I'm just trying to do it, and I'm gonna extrude it like that. I'm going for 5 repetitions like that, and again, extrude it up, scale it down, extrude it up like that, slightly like that, extrude, scale it up, extrude, scale it down, extrude, scaling up, extrude, scaling down. Yeah, it's going to be a very long video, but okay. So right now, as you can see, we got a bottle. I'm gonna shade auto smooth, as you can see. Okay, so now it's time for some beveling. So I'm gonna go to edge selection, select this edge by hitting Alt. Okay, so I'm going to go to object mode, Control A, apply the scale. I'm going to hit Control B to bevel the edge. I'm going to select all of those edges by hitting Alt and click. And you can also click Shift Alt to select multiple edges at once. I'm going to select all of them, hit Control B to bevel them up like that, so they are smoother. And maybe we have missed some of those edges, but we are just done with it. And as you can see, it's pretty smooth. I'm going to select this one also by hitting Alt like that. Control B, bevel it so it gets smaller, and this is what we wanted. Select this one, Control B, smaller, that's it. It's super simple stuff that you can do. Okay, so I'm going to select all of those edges by hitting Shift Alt to select multiple edges, Control B, bevel it, and smooth it up, and this is what we wanted. Okay, so here's the thing. We're going to make some piston things on the top of it. So I'm going to go to face selection mode. I'm going to select these faces, and I'm going to hit Shift D and duplicate it, and hit P to separate it. I'm going to set the origin to center. I'm going to scale it up on Z axis. I'm going to scale it on X and Y axis by hitting Shift Z. And if I just get it down like that, and if I go to edit mode, I'm going to select edges like that. I'm gonna scale it like that. I'm gonna select these edges. I'm gonna hit E, extrude it downward by hitting S again. I'm gonna move it up on Z-axis. I'm gonna hit E, extrude like that, and we have something called piston. I'm gonna hit Control B and bevel it. Okay, so as you can see, it's very flat. I'm gonna add a solidify modifier into it, so we get some thickness into it, and this is fine. I'm gonna hit S and Shift Z to only scale it on X and Y axis. Okay, so I'm gonna save this bottle blend file also. I'm gonna hit Save Blender File. Okay, so now it's time to add some material into our bottle, because without material, nothing looks good. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna select the main bottle. I'm gonna select it. I'm going to select the half of the bottle like that in edit mode, in face selection mode. I'm gonna hit Shift D, S, Shift Z to only scale it on X and Y axis, and hit P to separate from the selection. And as you can see, we have another bottle, which is actually a liquid inside it. I'm going to select the main bottle. I'm going to add a gloss shader into it. If I go to shader editor, and as you can see, we just have a gloss shader into the main bottle. And if you go to edit mode, Shift N, calculate the normals again. I'm going to add a mix shader into here. I'm going to add a transparent shader into there. And I'm gonna try to play around. Okay, so I'm gonna change these from alpha to blending mode to alpha blend, so we can see. Okay, so I'm gonna select the second object, and I'm gonna make it something like yellow. I'm gonna make the value to something like 5, so we get extremely high brightness color, you know. So now it's time to add some sign into it. You can use Sanctus, which is a pretty good add-on to adding signs, but it was not working for me, so I'm not going to recommend it for this situation, because if you scale it up, it's going to mess up, and I think this is really bad. So we are not using Sanctus. Just hit N, hide it. Okay, so we're using manual texturing. I'm going to duplicate this by hitting Shift D. I'm going to add a diffuse shader here, and I'm going to connect it to the bottom one. I'm going to add an image texture. I'm going to connect it into, I'm going to use the default, the Blender icon for this texture, because I don't really have any sort of label for it. So I'm going to drag the alpha to the vector. And as you can see, if we go to edit mode, if we just unwrap these by hitting U, and if we hit Control T, as you can see, it's changed the repeat to clip. So we just have, if you go to UV editor, as you can see, it's messed up. So I'm going to select all of the things right behind it. I'm going to scale it up like that. So we have it on every single axis, but I just want it to be on one side. So in order to do it, you just need to select the side wherever you want it. I'm going to go for this side. I'm going to select all of those, all of this side like that. Select inverse selection and scale it down into the alpha places like that. Place it where there is no blender signs. And if we just invert the selection, and if we just scale it down like that, as you can see, it's flipped. So I'm gonna hit S-1 x-axis. As you can see, it's flipped it. But right now, as you can see, there are some errors. So I'm gonna select all of those like that, and I'm gonna hit S, scale it down like that, and I'm gonna move it towards the alpha places. And I'm gonna select this side also. I'm gonna hit S, scale it down, and move it towards the alpha places like that. And as you can see, we just have it on one side. I want to add some more images into it. So in order to do it, I need the same setup. I'm just gonna duplicate this thing to here, place it right up on here. I'm gonna duplicate these two nodes here. I'm gonna click this icon. I'm gonna add this texture into it. I'm gonna connect it with the bottom shader like that. But right now it's using the default UVs. So under object data, I'm gonna click UV maps, and I'm gonna hit plus icon to add a new UV into it. I'm gonna search for UV map under shader editor. I'm gonna connect it to the vector, and I'm gonna add the second UV into it. Okay, so right now we don't see anything because we need to change some stuff right here. So as you can see, the factor value, so I'm gonna grab the alpha of the image into the factor of this one, and right now, as you can see, the UV is messed up. So I'm gonna go to y-axis, hit tab, select everything, Q projection, and I think not Q projection. Okay, that's fine. Just leave it on default. Right now, as you can see, I'm just going to align it perfectly. And best thing about the another UV, it's not going to affect the other UVs. So I'm going to select all of those messed up UVs that are not really good. So like that, I'm gonna scale it down towards the alpha places where there is nothing, and I'm gonna select this one also like that, and I'm gonna scale it down, and I'm gonna move it towards here. Okay, so right now, as you can see, we got something really good, and I loved it. I'm gonna select save it. I'm gonna add the same texture to the piston also. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna go to shadow editor, and I'm gonna try to play around with the value of the glossiness. The full zero is glossy, and sorry, the zero factor is glossy, and the one factor is transparent. I'm going to select all of them, Control P to set the parent of it. I'm going to hit Control C to copy it, and Control V to paste it in our main scene right here. I'm gonna select this tracker, Shift Ace, cursor to selected. I'm gonna select this object, Shift Ace, selection to cursor, so it snap it towards that axis. Right now, if we go to Y axis, slightly rotate it like that, and we're going to move it like that. I'm just gonna try to fit it inside of this place. Okay, so I'm just trying to move it towards that axis. Maybe I can. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna move this face slightly backwards so it's not clipping with our bottle, because we need some room for this thing to happen. I'm also gonna move it like that so we have more room for the bottle to work on. So right now we're going to model some environment here. I'm just trying to match the perspective of the building like that, and I think that's fine. I'm gonna just right now, if I just change the color of the background to something like a yellow, it's going to look good. You can just make it any color you want, but I'm just going for this color. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna select this one. I'm slightly moving towards x-axis. My voice is fading out because I'm talking a half hour. So I'm gonna add a cylinder into here. I'm gonna hit S and Shift Z. Okay, so I'm gonna copy the rotation. Sorry, Control Z. Okay. So I'm gonna select the cylinder here and Control C, copy rotation. So we have the same rotation for the cylinder. It's actually an add-on, comes with Blender, which actually copy the location rotation. You just need to search for copy attributes, menu, and turn it on, and it's working pretty nice. Okay, so I'm gonna align up this geometry with the bottle. So in fact, it's just a handle that is controlling the bottle rotation. So I'm gonna select the top and bottom faces, delete all of them, select all of them, hit Alt E, extrude it by normal. So extrude it inside like that. And we're going to go to the top view like that. And I'm just gonna select the cylinder right up on here. And what I'm going to do, I'm gonna select some of the edges here, because I want to extrude it on this side, also on the other side. I'm selecting 3 faces here. So we have something to work with, like we have something that makes sense for us, that is attached to the wall like that. Okay, so I just, by hitting Alt E, extrude it by normals, and as you can see, it's not good. So I'm gonna hit Control Z. I'm gonna deselect this face, and I think I need to select this one, and again hit Alt E, extrude it by normals, extrude faces by normals, and as you can see, it's doing its job perfectly, and it's fitting right in there, and this is what we wanted. Okay, so hit Control S to save it, the file. I'm gonna select this object. I'm gonna go and select, I'm gonna parent the bottle object into the cylinder object by hitting Control P, so we can control the rotation of the bottle with the rotation of the cylinder. Right now, it's not oriented pretty good, so I think if I change it to global, maybe local. Okay, so I'm gonna go to edit mode. Okay. So go to camera view, like that. I'm gonna go to normal. Okay, just don't mind it. Okay, I'm gonna select the object. If I just rotate it, it's rotating the bottle. I'm gonna add it a new material, which is going to be a nice black color, and I'm gonna decrease the roughness and increase the metallic. And under edge selection, I'm gonna select those edges like that, because I want to bevel this thing up, because it becomes smoother when you bevel it. Oh, So go to object mode, Control A to apply the scale, and you can bevel this thing again. So I'm gonna hit Control B to bevel it. Okay. So right now, I'm gonna save our file, and I'm going to slightly rotate our bottle because it's not facing the right direction. I'm gonna select the bottle, and I'm going to rotate it on z-axis by its local axis, so the logo faces the front face. Right now, I'm going to select the cylinder object, and I'm gonna go to top view. I'm gonna hit Shift S, cursor to select it. I'm gonna add an empty, which is going to be a sphere. I'm gonna scale it up like that, and I'm trying to rotate it so it just fits in with the cylinder object. So I'm gonna select the cylinder object and then our empty, and hit Control P to add the parent into it. So if we in the local, we can rotate it on x-axis, which is pretty good, and I really liked it because I have so much control over the rotation of all of those things, and I love it. I love every second of it. I'm gonna scale it up slightly. If I just rotate it on x-axis, it's doing its job perfectly, and this is what we wanted. Okay. So now it's time to select, go to edit mode, select these edge. You can create a cube. In edit mode, select this edge, click Shift D, hit P, and separate this edge, and again go to edit mode, hit E to extrude it downward like that, and go to object mode. If we just remove, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to slightly move it forward like that. I just want to have an object under the bottle, so it feels like the bottle is staying on that object. Let me show you what I want to do. So I'm gonna make this color to be black. I'm gonna hit E to extrude it forward, and I'm gonna hit Control R to add 5 float cuts. I'm gonna select the middle one, turn on the proportional editing, grab it down like that, so we have a place where the bottle can be placed when it's rotated. Okay. So I'm gonna move it downward like that, and I think that is totally fine. I'm gonna change it from smooth to sphere, and I think it's so much. I'm gonna go grab it downward like that, and that is fine, I think. I'm gonna extrude it upward, and I'm going to scale it on y-axis, just slightly move it down, and I think that is totally fine. Slightly move it down so it fits in. Okay, so now it's time to rotate it. So as you can see, we have a reference where our bottle will be. I'm slightly rotating on y-axis, so it just fits in with the hole, with the cutout of this thing. And I'm going to select it. I'm going to slightly move it forward, slightly rotate it on x-axis like that, and that is totally fine. Okay. So right now, if we just rotate it on x-axis like that, slightly rotate it so it doesn't look really obvious. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna hit Control S and save our file. Let's do the same thing for the other side. I'm gonna change the color to something like a green because I want the fluid to be green on the other side. I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna hit Control Shift D to duplicate it on the other side. Make sure to select everything and duplicate it. So I'm gonna rotate it and align it with this area. I'm just making it slightly faster because I don't want to waste your time, and I'm really tired right now because it's like literally 33 minutes talking straight forward. It's getting 1 hour of this video, and I'm just trying to align it with this side also. And as you can see, if you just slightly move it downward and slightly move it forward like that, slightly rotate it to align it with the background, and if you just select okay, that is totally fine. I loved it. You can add any sort of material if you like, but I'm just going for a very simple material for everything because I'm not going to explain every single shit. And right now, if I just hit okay, so what I'm going to add right now. Okay, so we have this foreground layer. We don't need background, to delete it. We also don't need the background view layer. So I'm gonna go to background view layer and delete it. So we just have a foreground layer. So right now we turn on the garbage. As you can see, we have these two planes that we first added in the beginning. So we're going to use all of those thing right now. And if I just select this tracker, I'm going to turn off the garbage again because I don't want to use it. I'm going to select all of those edges and yeah, change my mind. I'm going to hit Shift D, duplicate it, and sorry, not duplicating it, by hitting F to fill it in, and then P to separate the selection. So right now in the edit mode of this plan, I'm using knife tool to draw some sort of lines by hitting K. I might not explain every single thing because I really don't know what I left. I'm gonna hit K and I'm gonna make these loop cut. I'm gonna hit Control B to add enough loop cuts by scrolling up like that. And we don't have so many right here, so I'm gonna hit K again and I'm going to add it here. When it's reached to the destination, hit Enter to confirm it. And again, I'm gonna select this one also, and I'm gonna hit Control B to bevel it like that, so we have enough faces to work with. We're in fact making some sort of glass that is going to be broke, and we need some faces or geometry for it. I'm gonna add a top sort of a vertical line by knife tool. I'm gonna select it, Control B to add a bevel thing, and we now have enough geometry. So we go to Modifier tab. I'm gonna add a physics, which is going to be a particle system, and I'm gonna go to particle settings. Under the frame start, I'm gonna make it to something like 20. Maybe I can go for 40, and I'm also gonna make the ending frame to something like 40 because it's 40. I'm gonna make the lifetime to something like 250. And if I just play it, select these object, I'm gonna add a collision into that object. I'm also gonna select the main object, add a collision into it. So if we just play it right away, I'm gonna select this object. If we play it, as you can see, some of the particles are dropping down and they are moving very interestingly. And if you go to modifiers, under the particle system, I'm gonna go for the cache and I'm gonna bake it like that. Maybe I can change the render from hollow to none. I'm gonna add another physics, which is going to be explode. I'm gonna add the explode physics. Explode uses the particle system to direct itself to wherever the particle goes. Okay, so under particle system, I'm gonna delete the back again because I didn't like the motion. Under rotation, I'm gonna click dynamic, so it dynamically moving, and I'm gonna go for the backing again. If I just replay it again and see, okay, so it is moving interestingly. I liked it, but I really didn't like it. I'm gonna go to source and I'm gonna make it random. Use modifier stack, and again, let's play it so we can see what we have right now. So as you can see, it is moving slightly randomly, and this is what we wanted. So we can change the geometry level, or we can select all of those by hitting, by searching. I'm gonna hit F3, search for triangulate, which is actually making those faces triangles. And now if you just go to the first frame and replay it, it will be way more interesting than you think. Okay. So if you want to have more particle, you can increase the number of particles, which is actually really good, and it might be heavier on your system. I'm gonna add a force field, turbulence force field, which is going to make the motion interesting. I'm gonna make the strength to 200, and in the beginning, let's see how does it feels like with the. Okay, so as you can see, it's flying around like a cloth, but we don't want it to be like that. We want it to have some sort of weight that is grabbing them down. They're not flying in the air. I'm gonna make the strength to something like 50, and if I just replay it again, let's see what we get. And I think this is very interesting. I liked it, but it's slightly moving upward because of turbulence. We can add another force field, which is going to be a wind, because wind does work for us, I'm gonna hit Shift S, cursor to select it, maybe slightly up, scale it up, so we know that what is the turbulence we're using in the scene. Shift S, cursor to select it. I'm gonna hit Shift A, and I'm gonna add another force field, which is going to be a wind, which is going to affect the movement of those particles. I'm gonna rotate it downward, and I'm gonna make the strength a little bit higher. If we just go to the first frame and replay our simulation, as you can see, it's again moving very interestingly, and I liked it. You can go for the same motion, but we don't want the strength to be very high. I'm gonna go for something like 30 for the wind, and I think that looks kind of cool. I liked it. But as you can see, they're staying there, and I think I didn't like this motion because they're jittering. I'm gonna make the strength to something like 10, and again, let's play it. By the way, physics is all about tweaking around with different settings, because if you just stay at the same settings, you're not gonna get the same result you want. So try to play around with different things like the friction of different objects in the collision, the damping values, which is actually staying all of those particles on its surface, randomizing those stuff, which is making it pretty amazing, you know. This is why the video length will be very longer, because I'm trying to play around with different values to make something perfect for you people right now. So if I select the wind and I just rotate it on x-axis slightly towards us, they will not stay there. I'm going to increase the strength to 24. And if you replay it again, it will working perfectly as we want it. And as you can see, it's also interacting with downward object. I'm going to slightly rotate it to the side of the particle because I just want to stay them there for a moment on this downward object. That is the reason I added this downward object, so we can have this amazing looking particle system. I'm going to select the plane here, and I'm going to go for the particle system. I'm going to hit back because the motion was very interesting and I liked it. And there's nothing to back in explode because it's using particle. Okay. So right now we're going to repeat the same setup for the other side. So I may make it very faster for you people. I'm going to go to material view. I'm going to go to material. I'm going to delete every single material from the gloss object. I'm going to add a gloss shader to here. And if I just open a new window, I'm going to make the same setup as we done before. I'm going to add a mix shader, which is going to be in between these two. And I'm going to add a transparent shader, which is going to be connected to the bottom shader. I'm going to decrease the factor value, so we have some interesting looking. I'm going to change the blending mode to alpha blend, so we can see what is going on in the background. As you can see, we got some perfect looking gloss, and this is what I really love. As you can see, it's breaking down into pieces, and I came up with this idea. Okay. So right now, it does look really good, and I love it. So we can do the same thing for the other side as well. Okay, so now it's time to rotate it. Okay, so animation. Select your empty, add a keyframe on 120th frame, and go to 180, rotate it on something like 160, rotate it on x-axis like that, and again, try to align it with the down object as we have here. So it's not like very bad. I'm going to slightly do it like that, and it's totally fine, you know. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit I for adding rotation keyframe to here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this object under physics. Maybe I can add a rigid body. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, so right now, sorry for the rigid body because I didn't know. I'm going to hide this piston because I animated them manually. It was very easy. You can also do it yourself, or you don't need any piston on the top of the bottle. So right now it's time to make some sort of fluid simulation. So I'm going to hide our glasses. So, okay, so right now if we just play, I'm going to select the bottle. I'm going to select the whole inside edge like that. And by hitting Alt, Shift A, cursor to selected, I'm going to add an icosphere. Okay, this icosphere is going to be the flow object for our fluid. So I'm going to add it inside the bottle like that. I'm going to slightly move it towards z-axis so it fits right inside of the bottle. I'm going to go for a global axis. Slightly try to align it with the inside of the bottle. I'm going to move it, scale it downward on X and Y axis by hitting Shift Z, S and Shift Z. Okay, so I'm trying to fit it inside like that, and I think that is totally fine because it's just a flow object, it's not going to render. Okay, select the empty, parent it with the icosphere, so icosphere also move with the motion of our empty. Okay, so what we need to add again, we need to add a domain object, which is going to be a cube. The domain object is an object that is going to have fluid inside. So I'm gonna click Shift A. I'm going to add a domain object into here, something like that. Maybe I can go to camera view so I can see what is going on. I may decrease the size of this window like that. And if I just go and into wireframe, I'm trying to align it with the icosphere object. Okay, so I'm going to scale it on Z-axis like that, and I'm going to move it downward like that. Try to align it with the icosphere inside. I'm going to select the other empty, which is animated. I'm going to solid view. I'm going to select the other empty, which is animated. Hit Control P to parent it to this object, so the cube also moves with our main object, and this is what we want. I'm going to select the cube, and when it reaches the frame number 140, it's going to have a fluid. So I'm going to add a fluid into the cube and a domain object, change the domain type to liquid, and I'm going to go to, I'm going to increase the resolution division later on, but right now, I'm going to select the icosphere and I'm going to add a fluid into it. I'm going to change the type to flow. I'm going to change the smoke to liquid, and I'm going to change the geometry to inflow, and that's it. I'm going to go to select the cube object, which is the domain object. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to make the starting frame to something like 140, and the ending frame is 250 by default, which is pretty good. I'm going to go to I'm going to play it and see how the simulation look like. It's just a preview and it's not the final simulation. Okay, so right now, if you just go to wireframe, you will be able to see some particles pouring down from the icosphere, which is showing exactly the type of simulation that you are going to create. So as you can see, it's just slightly colliding with the sides. I'm gonna move this thing, and I'm gonna go for the first frame, and again let's play it to see how the simulation looks like. It's fairly simple, and let's play it. So again, it's clipping with our cube, and maybe we can go for it. You know, it's totally fine because it's not showing in the camera view, and that is why we are just going for it. I'm gonna change the starting frame to something like 120. So if we play it, the simulation will start from 120. We will be able to see how things looks like, and I think that is totally fine. And okay, so we're going to turn on the glass stuff, or maybe we can turn it off for now. We can turn on the pistons, I think. Okay, so right now the pistons going off from the bottle from 138 frame. So I'm gonna make the frame start for the fluid simulation something like 138. That is fine. I was just trying to see how my other object moves. Don't mind it. Okay. So right now we have the cube, we have the icosphere. I'm gonna move it to the foreground collection, so we have it in our main scene right here. So right now, if we just turn on our other object, like the piston and the glasses, they're going to look really cool. And okay, so what we need to do, we need to select let's see how things looks like. So when it reaches here, it's going to pour some liquid downwards, and that looks kind of cool. I loved it, you know. I'm gonna make the division to something like higher, something like 95 for now. You can make it to something like 156 if you want to have a high detailed simulation. I'm gonna turn on the mesh. I'm gonna change the type from replay to all, and I'm gonna hit back all. Control S, save your file, and again hit back all to back your simulation. I'm gonna stop right here and resume it. So right now our simulation is done. As you can see, it looks kind of cool. I loved it. I really liked it. And as you can see, it's clipping with the border, but it's out of the frame, so we don't really care about it. Now it's time to add some material into it to make it more interesting. I'm gonna add the old material, which is this yellow material. So maybe I can just duplicate it, and I'm gonna change the value to 1. Maybe I can increase the value to something like higher for now. We can decrease it later on, but now we can see it perfectly in EV. Okay, I'm gonna select the fluid maybe, and maybe I can use the same material as the fluid inside fluid does have. And I think it's very bright, but we will change it later on. We just need to preview the thing we have right now. And as you can see, we have the cube in the beginning, and if you play it right away, okay, so I'm gonna duplicate the material. I'm gonna decrease the roughness, and it's not affecting it because the value is very high for the color. Anyways, I'm gonna duplicate it, and I'm gonna make okay, it doesn't look really interesting because the value is very high. We gotta make it something like 1 to make it kind of cool, you know. So right now it's moving like that, and I'm gonna change the color to something interesting. Maybe I will just do the same thing for this material because the value is increased really much for the color, because I've increased it at the first moment. I thought it will be good, but in fact it looks like a shit. That is why I'm decreasing the value. Okay, so right now it looks kind of cool. We can just duplicate the existing fluid to the other object, change its material, and that's it. It is fairly simple. And if we just look at this, okay, that is totally fine. Select this object, go to y-axis, hit Shift D, duplicate it. On x-axis, you can also hit Alt D, so it will instance this object into the other side, but it might grab you into problem later on because you will have the same property for both of the objects. Okay, I clicked Alt D to instance this object into the other side, but I regret because I need to click Shift D instead of Alt D. I'm just trying to align it with the with this bottle like that. It's up to you. So I'm not going to be very detailed on how to align this thing because you know how to align things in Blender. You can just hit G to move it around like that, and that is totally fine. I think, love that. I'm gonna go to object data. I'm gonna click this two to have its own object, and now we can just try to move. I'm gonna turn on this. I'm gonna select the fluid and this empty. Control P, parent it into that object, so the fluid also moves with that object. That looks kind of cool. I loved it. Okay. So right now, if you play it, as you can see, it have some interesting movement. I really liked it. So you can just play around with the material of it. I'm gonna decrease the value for this object to something like very low. I'm also doing it for the yellow one because it's really high. If I select the yellow cube, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna turn off the visibility to something like bounds. Okay, I'm going to select the fluid. I'm going to change it to bound also. So we will not be able to see it in viewport. We just see the particles that is moving inside our fluid. Okay, that looks kind of cool. I loved it, you know. Okay. Okay, that is fine. That is totally fine. I loved it. I'm gonna go to and change the cycles to rendering engine to cycles. I'm gonna turn on the GPU and turn on the denoise. If you go to render view, it looks like a shit because it's a shit. It doesn't look so realistic. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna go into world setting, maybe. First, we're gonna go to render, film, and click transparent. I'm gonna add our environment texture. I will put the link to the same HDRI in the description down below. You can use the same HDRI for your shot also, but I'm trying to mess up with different HDRIs because I'm not sure which one I'm using for this shot because it's different scenario for different people. So I'm trying to add this one. So it's very bright right now. I'm gonna go to material, turn on both of those things. Okay, so it's facing the right direction. If we just go into world setting under adding another HDRI, I'm just trying to mess up with different HDRIs. I have downloaded those HDRIs from Polyhuman, which is a great place for HDRIs. I'm gonna go to render view. As you can see, it is not good. I'm gonna add another HDRI. I'm gonna add this one. Let's see if it works. I think it doesn't work. I'm gonna go for another one in my download folder and see what I can add into. So I'm trying to find a best HDRI that is fitting the scene. I'm gonna add this one, and I think that looks kind of cool. You can just play around with your own HDRI. You can add your own one. So I'm trying to align the sun angle because it's not facing the right direction. I'm gonna increase. Okay, so here's the sun. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click this, hit Control T. It's the node wrangler, which is very helpful from the add-ons preferences. It's by hitting Control T, you can add additional nodes. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to align the sun from that side because it's facing from that side. If you go to render view, and as you can see, we have something looking extremely okay. So the reason that it looks very washed out because you can play around with the strength, but if we select the inner liquid object, it is like an emission shader because we have increased the value immensely, which was not a good sign for us. What we need to do, we need to go to object. I'm going to select the inner object. If we go to solid, select the inner object. And as you can see, if we go to color, the value is extremely high. I'm going to make it to 1. And if we now go to render view, I'm going to also do the same thing for this material. I'm going to make the value to 1. And I'm going to go to render view and see how does it looks like. As you can see, it's getting to the default value. I'm going to turn off the floor from the overlays. I'm going to turn off the motion tracking extras so we can see perfectly what is going on in our scene. Okay, I'm going to select the huge cube here. It's also having the higher value for the value, for the color value. I'm going to select it. I'm going to make the value to 1 because we messed it up in the beginning and it was not a good sign for us. I'm also gonna, it's fine if we go in. Okay, so right now we have an actual looking scene, which is looks kind of cool. I really liked it. You can play around with the value of the factor. If you make it 1, it will be fully transparent. If you make it 0, it's likely going to be like a gloss. I'm gonna make it, I'm just gonna slightly increase the roughness for our bottle glass, and yeah, it's up to you how you want to fill the gloss to be like. And I think that looks going, yes, that is looking good. I'm gonna go to solid and I'm gonna go and delete the default world because I'm creating my own world by making a sun because I didn't like the HDRI concept. I'm gonna add a sun into here, and if I just go and turn on everything we have, like the extras from the overlays, I can rotate the sun on y-axis like that. I'm going to rotate it like that from the x-axis. I'm going to increase the strength of the sun so we can see what is going on. I'm going to make it to 5 so we can see what we get. And I'm going to increase the value. I'm going to go to frame number 162. And I think it doesn't look really good. I'm going to track the eyedropper. I'm going to select the color. I'm going to increase the strength to something very high. So right now, as you can see, we have something looking like that. But as you can see, the environment don't reflect the light inside into these corners or those rooms. So in order to add light inside that, we need another light. First, we increase the angle of the sun. Then, because we want to make a shadow smoother, then what we can do, we can add other stuff. For example, we can add an area light in the front of the, I'm going to hide those stuff. We will be able to see what is going on. I'm going to add another light, which is going to be an area light. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to rotate it on y-axis like that. I'm going to rotate it on x-axis at 90 degree. So it's facing the right direction. I'm going to move it slightly backward. I'm going to make the power to 100 for now. I think we need to make it really crazy. I'm going to make this to something like 10,000. I'm gonna scale it up so it fits in the scene. And I think that looks kind of cool. I will go for this setup because it does looks really good. I liked it. I really liked it. You can play around with the angle of the sun to fit it with the HDRI. You can also add your own HDRI to fit the lighting with the background lighting, because if it's not matching, it's not going to look realistic. So you have to match it, bro. I'm going to select this material maybe. You can change it towards anything you wish, and it's up to you. And the video is very long right now. It's 1 hour completed, and I'm really tired, you know. I don't know. I'm gonna hit Control S. I'm gonna save this file. Okay, I'm gonna delete this thing. You can leave it, you can delete it, but I will prefer to leave them there because we have added some sort of okay, I'm gonna select this object. I'm gonna hit nothing because I'm done with this video. I'm gonna separate by selection. I will be able to play around with the values. You can go to remove all of those materials maybe, and you can just make it a shadow catcher or whatever you want to make it. I'm not recommending doing so. Just go with your own settings. But if you liked it, you can make it a shadow catcher because it will cast some slight amount of shadows. But I didn't like it. The idea is really bad. So I'm not going for this shit. I'm just trying to mess up with stuff, but I think we are done with our video. I'm really okay. So I'm gonna select the icosphere, turn it off for the render and also for the viewport, so we don't see it anymore. I think, oh, one thing that we can do is compositing. Compositing is very important than you think. So first we gotta select all of those shit, and I'm gonna select this one. I can bevel this thing up. Okay. If I go to material view, I'm gonna add a new material. I'm gonna assign the new material into it. I'm gonna go to render view and see how does it looks like. And I think this looks good. It just merged our CG into the shot. You can make it accordingly. You don't need to make it very dark. You just need to make it like the skyscraper color. Oh, we got this problem. Oh, we didn't select the edge. I'm gonna hit Control Z again and again and again. So we reach this beveling. I'm gonna select all of them and again hit Control B. I'm really sorry because I'm taking your time. I'm forgetting everything. I'm gonna assign it again into the material. And if you just slightly turn on the stuff around, you will be able to see what is going on. And I think that looks kind of cool. I loved it, you know. Okay, so I'm also doing the same thing for this side also, because both of them must look the same and we don't want to have variation. I'm gonna hit Control B, bevel it, and I'm gonna add a new material. I'm gonna select the material that we added for the other object and hit assign to assign it to the other side as well. And I'm gonna go to render view and see what we have here, and I think that looks kind of cool. You can just move it slightly towards the x-axis because it doesn't look good, and I think that's okay. That's really washed out. You can play around with the HDRI. I didn't like the look, but it's totally fine, I think. Okay, so face selection, I'm gonna select this face, I'm gonna hide it. So as you can see, it's moving outside of the skyscraper, and this is what we don't want. So I can slightly move it inside, and I'm gonna move it towards I'm gonna select the face here, and I'm gonna move it towards x-axis like that. And if you now go to render view, it's fine. It's totally fine. It's up to you how you want to feel like, you know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off every single thing in the viewport in overlays. Okay, Control S, save it. Okay, so we are done with the CG stuff. Now it's time for compositing. Go to compositing. We got some shit here because it's Blender default stuff. We don't want to select all of those things and delete them. just leave these two other nodes. I'm going to add a movie clip. I'm going to add render layers. I'm going to add an alpha over node, which is actually combining these two. Add these images to the bottom one. Everything in the bottom is on the front. Okay, just do whatever I do. Right now, if we go to render, I'm gonna make the max samples to 20. And if we click F12 or hit render image, we will try to render out the image and see how does it feels like. And right now it's rendering out, and let's see what we get here. So it's rendering very faster because we don't have any complex object in the scene, but that's fine. That's totally fine, you know. Okay. So that looks kind of cool. I liked it. Go for it. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you want to get more like that, you can hit the subscribe button. You can also like this video, share it with your friend, and I hope you understood every single point I explained. Thanks for watching.